Good afternoon, Monroe Cline. Welcome on VH Berries.
Hi, I'm so happy to be here. How are you?
I am extremely grateful because the air you move in a dense room transmits currents in opposite directions, which more than often are pairing and celebrating glee and bliss. How are you doing today?
Um, that's a great description. I will copy and paste that. I am having a great day. Can't complain. I mean, LA is springing with spring right now, so it's beautiful.
Absolutely, Monroe Cline. Los Angeles is springing, and I like that idea of coping and pasting, and your level of excellence in the field of dance is changing the architectural structures of building from mirror walls to solid bricks, which keeps you
Oh,
safe from the unstable Californian weather from November to March during one of the
mm.
36 days per year with measurable rain.
Yes. Yes. We don't get very much rain over here. We have recently. It would have been nice to have in January, though.
Absolutely, Monroe Cline. And in that regard, we may agree that no one knows better about those climatic conditions than Sasha when it rains in LA.
That's a great transition. Yes, Sasha is the character I played in the feature film When It Rains in LA. And yes, she definitely experiences the worst case scenario of what happens when it rains in LA. Yeah, that was a journey for her for sure.
I would love Monroe Cline to discuss about this wonderful feature film in which you're playing Sasha. And that piece of art was released at the beginning of the year
Mm.
around the world, with also a premiere on January 23rd. Can you tell us a little bit more about it and about that evening?
Yes, of course. So it had its US release this January, and it'll be released, I believe, in Italy and some other countries in Europe this spring, which is very exciting. But yeah, the premiere in January was great. We are musical artists. He he flew in to come to the premiere, but then the fires happened, so the premiere got postponed. So unfortunately, he wasn't able to make it. But it was great. We had it at the Chinese Theater. It got a really good reception. It's it's such a fun movie because it plays on the campiness of like when it rains in LA, crazy things happen. And the character of Sasha was really interesting because she's kind of escaping her old life and trying to find solace in her friends who live in LA. And she ends up finding the exact opposite. I can't relay too much info, but basically you go on this journey with her of like a crazy evening in LA, and it all happens in essentially one night, and you learn a lot about her and her past, and it explores like the capacity for human cruelty essentially, and like how you can't judge a book by its cover. You just don't really know who to trust and what someone's gone through or what they're capable of.
We cannot judge a book by its cover,
Mm-mm,
Monroe
never.
Cline. And before we jump into the making of that feature film, I did a detailed analysis on the weather during that period, and I found that the day that followed the premiere on Sunday, January the 26th, it was the only day in the entire month with rain. So we know now who to blame.
Yes, we take full responsibility for bringing the rain to Los Angeles that weekend. I was actually, it's funny, joking at the premiere, like, this is going to be a rain dance. We're summoning the rain. And then boom, that weekend, we got a really decent amount of rain, which was so cool. So yeah, just controlling the weather now.
You're controlling the weather, Monroe Cline. And the real question in that situation is where was Martha Monroe Cline on that Sunday? Probably selling umbrellas and waterproof rain poncho on the streets.
Yes, that would have been a very smart business move for me to do. I should have definitely invested in some umbrellas before, because I ended up getting caught in the rain. I actually got engaged the next day when it rained on Saturday. So yeah, it was a really eventful weekend for sure. So I wasn't really thinking about umbrellas at the time. I was just thinking about my fiance.
Absolutely, Monroe Cline. And I feel that you had a very great time making that project. What were your favorite moments?
Oh man, we had a lot of laughs on that set. Gosh, I think my favorite moment was there's one scene we film at the end of the movie where you kind of realize who's behind all these crazy things that are happening. And there's this amazing fight scene between Tom Gibson and Leslie Stratton. And I remember it was freezing out, by the way. We shot this in like December in Los Angeles in 2023, and there's no rain. So all the rain in the film is generated by us. And freezing outside, soaking wet. And they just had this amazing fight scene. They're rolling around the grass. Leslie ends up going into the pool, like such a trooper. I, of course, loved performing in the movie, but I think just that day watching these two tussle in the grass under all the fake rain and the freezing cold was my favorite part of it all. I was just so inspired by those two. I'm trying to think what else. God, it was such a great ensemble cast. We had a lot of group scenes, which I love, and you don't get very often. Just scenes with a large amount of people, because it's hard to do. It's hard to film. It's a lot of coverage. So, yeah, I was really grateful for that, to have actors my own age in the film. Because sometimes you're on a set and it's just you, and maybe it's just you and like one other person, and they might be 30 years your senior, which is amazing. You learn so much from them, but it's cool to get to just hang out with your peers. Especially for me, because I didn't really get a normal like college experience. So it's fun to just like make friends that are my own age.
Absolutely, Monroe Cline, you really enjoyed those group scene, and if I understood correctly, the rain on set was artificial,
Yes.
which means that you are now a certified specialist regarding all special effects around rain curtains and rain bar, which are the devices that are in use to create rainfall effects when paired with some clever angles, lighting, and fans.
Yes, I wouldn't say I'm the expert, but I did learn a lot watching, and it's really cool how they make like the thunder and the lightning. I think, well, thunder's added later on, but like the flashes of lightning outside, it's very cinematic. And gosh, lighting is just such an art form, with or without rain, on any film set. I'm always just mind blown at the technicalities of lighting and how much goes into it. The detail, it's like a painting in a way. So yeah, I always love learning from that. This movie in particular was really cool. There were definitely some umbrellas on set this time, so we were prepared with that.
You were prepared, Monroe Cline, and furthermore, to give a reality to those rain and those special effects. The production team probably had to empty half of the Silver Lake reservoir, leaving some Californian tree frogs without hydration.
Yeah, I mean, the Silver Lake Reservoir is pretty much never completely full. I don't think I've ever seen it full. I don't know how it's called a reservoir, but yeah, I wish we were filming over there to fill it up. We actually filmed a large chunk of it. Well, there was a studio down in Anaheim and then in the Pacific Palisades, which luckily the amazing house we filmed at survived the fire, so it's still there, which we were worried about because it was well documented throughout like 80% of the film.
Absolutely, Monroe Cline. And to come back to those frog, I hope that they won't form a lobby and expose that situation. And to some extent, the moment when it rains in LA is contrasting with times when it's sunny in suburbia.
Oh my goodness. Yes. That I believe is a reference to smuggling in suburbia.
Exactly, Monroe
Oh,
Cline. I would love to explore that feature film that is very close to your heart because this is your first step into the feature film environment. Can you tell us a little bit more about Joanny and about those diamonds?
yes, I have such sweet memories from smuggling in suburbia. So, smuggling in suburbia was the first real acting role I did in Los Angeles as my transition from dancing, because I started out as a dancer. And so I actually put myself on tape, and this was before tapes were more normalized. Like now, pretty much everything is a tape. And yeah, I sent in a last minute tape. They were still looking for the lead role of Joni. And yeah, Jeff Hardwick, the casting director, kind of took a chance on me. I hadn't really done anything, any movies, really. And yeah, I was right for the role, which was great. And like that character Joni was me at the time. I was like 19 and so naive and like trusting of everyone, and that is the character in the movie. Like she wants to be part of the cool girl group, and so ends up smuggling blood diamonds through the TSA security line. It was a really cool plot, and I have such like potent memories from that time because I was just like a sponge learning so much every day, and kind of like most things, like you don't really know what you're doing until you do it. Uh, like I learned by doing, and Doug Campbell, the director, was so patient with me. Darlene Vogel, who played my mom, gave me so many amazing tips, and I haven't watched it. I'm like scared to go back and watch it, but I think my kind of naivety added to the role because I really had no idea what I was doing, much like the character Joni. And so yeah, that was such an amazing experience, and yeah, very wholesome. It ended up going on Lifetime, of course, and yeah, love the Lifetime fam. They're so good to me.
Absolutely, Monroe Cline. You were playing some scenes in front of the TSA in which some diamonds were hidden inside, for example, a camera or other luggage.
Yes, so my character was tricked into. She didn't know that she was actually smuggling illegal diamonds. She thought she was transporting camera lenses, and so these diamonds were hidden inside camera lenses. very sketchy. So poor Joni was blindsided. And yeah, there's some romance in there with Tucker. Well, I still remember all the characters' names, which is really cool because this was like we shot it in 2018. So yes, and then I did one right after that for Lifetime with a different director, different gang, called "Am I a Serial Killer?" Formerly A Mother's Deception, and that actually ended up coming out before Smuggling in Suburbia. And Smuggling in Suburbia, the original title was Teenage Mules. So these titles change rapid fire. But yeah, Smuggling in Suburbia had a great ring to it, so happy with the title.
The title is actually very clever, and in overall, that feature film is a bookmark in the long history book of the feature film of the end of last decade, with a very emotional final scene. And the three words that you're saying, which are, that sounds wonderful. Some words that are followed by a warm hugs by the mother, Georgia.
Oh, which project is this referencing? Georgia.
I was still talking about Smuggling in Suburbia and referring and talking about the final scene.
Oh yes. Okay, yes. I haven't watched it in a while, so that is great. A really great reference. Yeah. Yes, that would be Darlene Vogel, a legend. She's awesome. She was in Full House, which was like one of my favorite shows growing up. So that was really cool. Yes. Okay, I need to rewatch this now.
Absolutely. You need to revisit that piece of art. And as exemplified in Smuggling in Suburbia, to protect your friends and close cycles in coordinated diamond smuggling, it is now fundamental to stay quiet. And I am now doing a real connection with an upcoming short film. Can you tell us a little bit more about it?
Oh, quiet. Yes, this is a film by Albert Pritchard. He's great. He's from Texas, where I'm from. And basically, it's about a girl that is being bullied and something really terrible happens to her, and they're trying to figure out who did it. And my character is one of the peers in question. I play Kira, and she's a ballet dancer. And all the girls in the film are ballet dancers, and I'm kind of like, I guess, the alpha dancer in it. And so I'm like being suspected of this terrible thing towards Denise. And yeah, it's really interesting. It deals with a lot of issues that are super present, like bullying and everything with AI that's going on too. So yeah, it was a great script, and that production company, Juicebox Films, is so cool. Like, they just had a film premiere at Sundance and South by Southwest, I believe. So yeah, they're just killing it, and I'm really hoping to do more projects with them, short films or features. So yeah, if the script is right, I'm definitely interested.
Moreover, Monroe Cline, that short film called Quiet, is written and directed by Albert Pritchard and is telling the story of a dancer who finds herself untangled in a web of suspicion and cyber flaming. And I am really enjoying the poster in which we can see yourself with a watchful sight turning to the right and being caught in the silence just before something breaks.
Yes. Yeah. So you can see on the poster, yes, that there's a lot of suspense in this project because it kind of surrounds the turmoil that can happen if you keep your mouth shut. And it's a lot of the speaking happens when people keep their mouths shut. It's in the silence of them not saying something that things can go wrong or just build. The tension can build. So, which I think makes for a great film. Like, even in certain series, like, I know, like, the whole world's watching White Lotus. I just finished it, but I think, like, the quietness of characters is really telling. Like, their act of not saying anything, whether it be the truth or their desires, whatever, is so telling, and it really creates this awesome suspense that makes you want to keep watching. So sometimes I think it's more powerful than dialogue.
The silence is telling.
Golden.
Monroe Cline. It is golden. And your character, Kira, is not only a dancer, but a portrait of quiet resistance with someone trapped between grace and dread. How do you relate personally as a dancer to that specific character?
Yeah, I definitely relate. Of course, the dancer aspect. I've grown up dancing, danced professionally, and so there's definitely like a kind of keep your mouth shut mentality and a competitiveness, which is kind of the darker side of like comparison with dance. Like any sport or art form is kind of inevitable, and it can get really nasty. So I 100% can relate to that. And Kira is kind of a leader in this film. So she has a lot of power, and it's like what you choose to do with that power. So, but yeah, ramble. I do think that dance and uh, can be both amazing and beautiful, and it can also be ugly and difficult and isolating at the same time.
Dance can be beautiful, but also isolating at the same time, Monroe Cline. And I would love to explore your passion surrounding dance, because Kira is connected to that quiet place before a performance starting, the exact same way your passion for dance often lives in silence before the music starting. Can you tell us a little bit more about your journey into those movements?
Yes, into my journey into dance or for this film itself.
Your journey in dance from the very beginning.
Well, I did start dance really young, as a lot of girls do. I have 3 older sisters, and they were all in dance, so I kind of just followed suit, as one does. My mom was like, "We need them to have after school activities and all be at the same place," and yeah, I ended up falling in love with it. I was really inspired. Like, the dance company I was in growing up just took me in, and there were some amazing dancers on that team, and I just needed something to throw myself into. I like, when I do something, I want to do it 110%. And so, of course, I took it to the next level and was like, I want to be professional. And I had this pre-professional program when I was like 16 through 18, and then moved out to Los Angeles because I competed growing up, and I was trained in all styles, ballet, but also hip hop, contemporary, jazz, a bit of musical theater and tap. And so I got accepted into this program called the Edge Scholarship Program, and they only took like 16 of us from around the country that auditioned. And so that was like my whole 18th year of life, was just dancing at the studio and training under some amazing instructors like one of Michael Jackson's former dancers, Randall Allaire and Bill Prudick, and um, Helene Phillips, just all these amazing choreographers. To a non-dancer, they aren't aware, but it's like they were the creme de la creme and got a dance agent through that. And then a lot of the main thing I loved about dance was really just being on stage and emoting. And I found I was able to kind of like fine tune that with acting and really like get to the meat of what I loved with acting. But I still dance. Like I still love dance. It's always going to be a passion of mine. And I think it's so good for your mental health to just move. Like I highly recommend if anyone's like in a funk, just turn on music and dance for like 5 minutes. It's so therapeutic. So I still dance for my mental health. And I think it's a great addition to any upcoming roles, whether they're dancing roles or not. It's just like bodily awareness. And I think it'd be really cool to translate it into a badass action character one day.
If I understood correctly, Martha Monroe Cline, those mentors are the la crème de la crème. And
Yeah.
that Edge scholarship program really helped you. And dance, during your journey, served you as a bridge that allowed you to channel your message into acting, especially when you arrived in California. Can you tell us a little bit more about that transition and those multiple steps?
Absolutely. So, yeah, the first year out here, I was just dancing the first year, training, and then I booked a couple of just dance jobs. The first one was actually a music video for Eminem, and I didn't really realize until I was on set. It was for Eminem, and Marty Kudelka was the choreographer, and I had to memorize like a whole paragraph of the rap like the day of. And so that was very expressive and emotive. It was essentially acting while twitching. So I was like, this is really cool. And then I like secretly started self-taping for things. I think I was a little bit afraid to admit that I wanted to act. I knew it was something I wanted to explore, but I wasn't ready to take that huge leap yet because dance was like where I felt safe. I felt like that was like a solid profession, even though it's totally not a solid, like it's such like a up and down, much like acting, but it was kind of my safety net in a way. And so, yeah, I taped for different roles. I trained different acting studios, and I still train at acting studios. I love it so much. I think it's actually really important to keep taking class no matter where you're at in your career, because it's like keeping your tools sharp and just, yeah, I think you always have to work on your craft. There's always something else to learn. But anyway, so I was taping at the same time as I was doing dance jobs, like tons of music videos and like commercials and stuff like that. And then the Smuggling in Suburbia was actually like I did a couple short films, and then the Smuggling in Suburbia was the first like big feature where I was like, whoa, I can do this. It was like terrifying, but so exciting. And then after that, I kind of just like went full on and got an acting agent, and yeah, it was cool. The casting director for Smuggling in Suburbia connected me with my reps that I have now and that I'm still with. So that was really cool.
Moreover, Monroe Cline, I feel that to this day, you haven't said farewell to dance, only a gentle see you soon.
Yeah, totally. I don't think I'll ever say farewell to dance. Like, it's always going to be a part of me. And like, maybe I'll go back into, no, I won't go back to dance. Like, I love acting so much, and it's definitely my focus, but dance is always going to be there. I don't think it's ever going to be a farewell.
This is never going to be a farewell, Monroe Cline. And the same may be applied to a city called Austin, Texas.
Yes, that is my hometown. I was born and raised in Austin. And like majority of my family lives over there, and I'll be going back soon. Um, yeah, so I love going back to visit Austin. It's a really cool city, and there's lots of creatives and small businesses, and it feels like everyone is moving there from Los Angeles, which is funny because I did the opposite. But
You are only saying see you soon to Austin, Texas. And in conclusion, I am looking forward to discover your upcoming craft as well as learning more about the development of your umbrella and waterproof poncho rain venture, especially when it rains in LA. Thank you very much, Marta Monroe Cline.
thank you so much. Yeah, keep an eye out for my waterproof business. I'll add that to my list. I will start sourcing materials. It shouldn't be that hard. And then I'll just come out with a bunch of movies about rain and make a successful business.